From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Hannah Mordeau, and this is your News 8 Daily for Tuesday, January 7th. We are digging out of the snow this morning. The good news is no more snow is falling. Bad news is it is still really cold outside. Highs today only going to be in the upper 20s. Roads, we're seeing improvements outside, but still be careful if you're headed out today. The wind's going to make things feel even worse. Upper teens to low 20s. We're following breaking news. This morning, firefighters are back on the scene of what was a massive warehouse fire on the city's east side. They're putting out hot spots this morning. Investigators say the fire was caused by an accidental mixture of oil and gasoline in a heater. You could see the large flames on Monday night from an I-70 traffic camera. IFD says a dog and 5 puppies were killed in the fire. Crews say the building was an auto body repair shop and an apartment for the owner of the business. The building is on Adams Street near I-70 and Keystone. Spokesperson for IFD says the fire started at around 10:30 last night when the people inside accidentally filled an oil heater with used oil that had been mixed with gasoline.
Such an unfortunate circumstance for them that they were just, normal business. And unfortunately, it's a good reminder to check what it is you're using, I guess, to put into a heater. We have a lot of people using heaters across the city. Just make sure it is the appropriate mixture of whatever it is that is the manufacturer's recommendations.
It took about an hour for crews to contain the fire. No other injuries were reported. We are well into the hundreds of crashes across the state since our first winter storm of the year started on Sunday. State police in the Indianapolis district alone say they've handled 210 crashes, 111 slide-offs, and 145 other calls for help. Authorities in many counties still want you to take care or not be out at all. The Homeland Security travel map shows normal conditions across the northern third of the state. Counties in the midsection of Indiana are in an advisory, and there are restrictions in the case of watches and warnings across the southern third of the state. For Indianapolis and the counties immediately surrounding it, Johnson, Morgan counties are in orange and under a travel watch. Marion, Hancock, Hendricks, Boone, and Madison counties are in yellow, meaning advisories. Hamilton County has returned to normal status. Road crews in Indianapolis are entering their third day of clearing the snow, but some city streets are still a little hard to drive on this morning. News 8's Hernan Gutierrez shows us conditions from Mobile News Tracker.
So right now we are on Allisonville Road and we're gonna head north, but right here where we're at, there's a little bank of snow right where we're trying to turn right, and that is a big problem for some of the cars that we've been passing by. A lot of them have been getting stuck in the intersections turning onto some main roads, especially if those side roads hadn't been plowed quite yet. And now we're heading north on Allisonville, trying to get over towards Binford Boulevard. And you might be able to see that there is some visible asphalt, and that has been kind of the story of the day. We've been cruising around mostly on the south side, but now that we're more on the north side of town, where it hadn't snowed as much, there are more visible parts, but there's still a lot of work to be done. We spoke with an Indy DPW spokesperson who says they are out in full force today responding to the storm.
We're still sticking with our 70 per shift. They are still working 24/7. They are on 12-hour rotating shifts at 70 trucks per shift. We anticipate remaining in this 12 and 12 through the end of this week.
As we get back onto the road here, we're turning onto 46th Street to head towards Binford Boulevard. And this is what I mean. A lot of the stuff is still very slushy. It's really hard to tell where the lanes still are. People have been kind of swerving in and out to find those actual patches of asphalt when you can get them. And this is really how a lot of these more side streets have been. We'll keep on sticking towards this side of town to monitor how that is going. But for now, reporting in Indianapolis, I'm Hernan Gutierrez, Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
The good thing about snow is when the driving is bad, the sledding is great. News 8's Garrett Berquist caught up with people enjoying the snow in Greenwood.
As soon as the snow stopped, kids flocked to the sled hill at Freedom Springs Park.
But we don't get a ton of days like this in Indiana where you've got enough snow to really have a fun day of sledding, and so we just had to go take advantage of it.
Betag thought 10 or 15 minutes would be enough. Instead, nearly an hour passed before his kids were ready to go back inside.
Anytime that they wipe out, I particularly enjoy it. They may not, but I love watching them go down and flip up in the snow.
It wasn't all fun and games, though.
This is definitely quite a bit of snow here.
Justin Curtis took a break from working from home to clear his driveway. He says he thinks he got about 10.5 inches.
I'm going to wait for most of this until plows come through and knock it out, because I know it's going to get pushed back up in the driveway, but try to stay ahead of it a little bit so it doesn't bury me back in.
By early Monday afternoon, most of the major roads in Greenwood were largely clear, including downtown. Many of the residential streets, though, had yet to be plowed, including in Curtis's neighborhood.
I don't see us going back. I mean, with all the snow, they haven't really been able to get the roads yet, so I don't see us going anywhere yet.
Betag said he doubted anyone could get out of their neighborhood and over to the sled hill without four-wheel drive. But he says, don't let that stop you from finding some way to have fun.
If you can get out today and get in the snow, you don't have to come out to Freedom Springs, but if you can get out somewhere and enjoy the snow day, I think you need to try to do that.
In Greenwood, I'm Garrett Bergquist for Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
We want to see how you're enjoying the snow. A big thank you to everyone who has already sent in pictures from all over the state. You can go to wishtv.com to check out our winter weather photo gallery and submit pictures there. Congress has certified the presidential election results, naming Donald Trump as the 47th president of the United States. Lawmakers counted the Electoral College votes yesterday. It was a different scene than 4 years ago when the Capitol riots paused the certification of Joe Biden. More than 1,500 people have been charged or convicted of crimes related to the insurrection. Trump has told reporters he plans sweeping January 6th pardons once he is back in office. In case you missed it, President Biden has signed a new law boosting Social Security payments for millions of Americans. Nearly 3 million people, former teachers, firefighters, and other public service workers, will see an increase in their Social Security benefits. It's from the Social Security Fairness Act, which got bipartisan support in Congress. Biden says retirees can expect their payments to go up by about $360 a month.
Social Security is the bedrock of financial security for retirees and survivors. Americans who have worked hard all their lives to earn an honest living should be able to retire with economic security and dignity.
Congress estimates that the law will cost nearly $200 billion over the next 10 years. If you're due to get extra money through it, you do not need to do anything unless your personal information has changed, and then you will need to update that. Jane King has our business headlines from the New York Stock Exchange and starts with a big bird flu update.
So the first U.S. bird flu death has been reported in Louisiana. Now, the patient, who was older than 65 and had underlying medical conditions, was hospitalized weeks ago in critical condition with severe respiratory illness. The Louisiana patient's death does not change the CDC's recommendation of immediate risk to the public's health from bird flu, which they say remains low. Well, McDonald's is the latest company to axe DEI policies. It cites the shifting legal landscape. McDonald's says it will retire specific goals for achieving diversity at senior leadership levels. It also intends to end a program that encourages its suppliers to develop diversity training and to increase the number of minority group members within their own leadership ranks. Well, the labor market does look healthy overall, but unemployed workers in high-paying white-collar jobs are struggling to find new positions. The Wall Street Journal reports jobs in areas like tech and law and media have become increasingly difficult to obtain as businesses offering these roles have slowed down hiring since the pandemic. Amazon's Ring doorbell and security camera is now, or at least will be soon, a fire alarm as well. It's partnering with the fire safety product maker Kitty. The companies will launch 2 models in April, along with a $5 a month smoke monitoring subscription service. It gives users access to round-the-clock professional monitoring as well as emergency dispatchers. And chip stocks led the Nasdaq higher yesterday in NVIDIA closed at a new record high. The Dow struggled even though the Washington Post reported that President-elect Trump's tariffs will be less widespread than previously thought. This morning, we're looking moderately higher. Live from the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Jane King. Back to you.
This morning, the Pacers are back above 500 for the first time since October. A well-balanced attack took down the Nets in Brooklyn. Tyrese Halliburton led with 23. Ben Mathurin had 20, and 10 Pacers in all got on the score sheet. It was never close after the first quarter as Indiana roared to a 113-99 win. Up next, Indiana is back home tomorrow at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, hosting the Bulls at 7 o'clock. Head coach is staying, but there will be at least one change on the Colts sideline next season. Yesterday, the Colts fired defensive coordinator Gus Bradley. Bradley just finished his third season with the Colts, and the team was ranked in the bottom third in points allowed during that same time. Colts head coach Shane Steichen issued a statement saying in part that Bradley is a man of great character and that I have the utmost respect for him. I felt like we needed to move in a different direction. Colts owner Jim Irsay announced on Sunday that Steichen and general manager Chris Ballard are returning next season. Notre Dame's head football coach hopes his players are not listening to the hype. The Irish are set to play Penn State Thursday night for a spot in the national championship game. Head coach Marcus Freeman is telling his team to stay grounded as the national attention ramps up.
You have to make the choice to either waste time listening to people tell you how good you are or what the past has been, or you're going to put your time into preparing for this opportunity right in front of us. And that's been my message loud and clear.
Notre Dame takes on Penn State in the Orange Bowl in Miami at 7:30 Thursday night. Miss Marion County is now Miss Indiana State Fair. Organizers say a ceremony Sunday saw Pilar Bravo win the crown, topping a field of more than 80 contestants. The pageant cites her academics, volunteer work, and horse showing as the reasons she will be a good ambassador. She is the first Marion County contestant in more than 40 years to win the title. This has been your News 8 Daily from Wish TV. I'm Hannah Mordeau. Watch us on wishtv.com and follow us on Facebook for updates.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go, connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.